timeline session. Today I'm going to be doing the 6th session from the mastery timeline. So just a quick recap for anybody who's new to this series or doesn't know what's going on. I am playing through the timelines from the Next Generation Clarinet method. The Next Generation Clarinet method is my method book that I put together. It's a whole online program. There's videos of me playing all of the exercises in that. And there's also these timelines that sort of guide you through the actual method book itself. So the point of these timelines is to sort of cater to whatever skill you're currently at and give you the exercises to be working on that will make the biggest impact on your playing. So I'm demonstrating the sort of intermediate level timeline. I call it the mastery timeline because it's all about mastering the fundamentals and playing the clarinet really well. So today we're on the 6th session. We have a daily warm-up today, so I am going to go ahead and go through the daily warm-up just like you should be doing if you're following along on this timeline. And then we have some changing intervals long tones for the main part of the session. So let me go ahead and get started. Let me pull up my timer and we'll get started with some scale long tones, which are in our daily warm-up to get started with this. Let me go turn on a light real quick. It's a little gloomy today. So notice as I'm doing these long tones, I'm really pausing and adjusting and fixing whatever needs to be fixed, anything I don't like. I went back and forth between notes a lot because I want the quality, because that's what's the most important about all of these sort of fundamentals exercises, is really digging into that quality. Now I'm going to go on to the next line. I can feel there's a little bit of like resistance in this read, so I'm just going to do some read tests real quick. So I'm just sort of testing each side of the reed, seeing how the balance is. I'm going to move my reed just over to the right a little bit. It felt like the left side of the reed was more resistant, so I'm moving it to the right. And my timer just went off for the long tones. That was good timing. Let me check. Yeah, it's not a terrible read, but just a little even moving it on the mouthpiece, not even having to take any material off, made it better. So next up, we have the finger flexibility. I'm going to do number 4, the climbing up this time. And I also want to say that normally in the allotted time, I don't always finish it. So I'm actually going to start sort of in the middle this time so I can get practice doing more of the ending that I don't regularly get to. And that's a great way to be sort of modifying these things. So I started my timer. I'm going to start at measure 4 on this one. Let me actually try doing it with a metronome. I always encourage doing this with a metronome, but it doesn't always sound great over the video, so let me know if this sounds terrible. And I have to turn it up loud enough that I can actually hear it too. I'm also always going for good sound quality, even on technique exercises. It's probably rhythm is the first priority. Good sound quality and good finger motion are sort of the close second and third priorities. Let me stand up for this one. So my big priority is making all of these fingers not moving more than they need to. Minimal motion and independent motion. And feel free to let me know in the comments if the metronome is too obnoxious and I can turn it off. I'm going to stand up for this next one too. This is another good one to see the sort of minimal motion. I'm feeling a little tension building up in my arm, so I'm going to try to relax that and just be easier, still precise and minimal and strong though. And this is crossing the break, but you can see there's no problem crossing the break because I'm just relaxed, easy, and keeping the reed vibrating. My rhythm's not perfect, so I'm going to be really careful of that. Oh, and that was the timer. So I almost made it to the end of that exercise in the 7 minutes, but that's okay. It's just about doing your time and getting it in there and having your sort of regular routine, and you're in good shape. I made progress, even though I didn't do the whole thing, and that is completely fine. And last but not least for our warm-up is the scale articulation. Again, just going for really great quality. This one I also recommend doing with a metronome. I'm going to do this one without the metronome, just because it's a little bit easier to get the rhythm and have a steady beat without having to worry as much about it. So I'm practicing starting the note, because that's a really important part of articulation. If you can start the first note really, really well, then all the rest of the articulation is going to go pretty well. So I'm just holding the note, feeling what it feels like to play that, and seeing if I can start with it feeling exactly the same as it feels when I'm already going. And I'm going for as much consistency as I possibly can. Okay, since I already had the metronome out, let's go ahead and get the metronome going. And I'm going to try working on speed this time. You can change up the style. You can try working on staccato. I did that a little bit last time on this, so now I'm going to try to push the speed a little bit. So that feels comfortable. I'm lazy and don't feel like changing the metronome, so I'm just going to double that speed. That was pretty good, and I'm going to speed up a little bit. So that's a little bit less comfortable, so I'm not going to speed up quite so much. You can hear it's not totally clean at that tempo, because that's pretty fast. That was 16th notes at 132 beats per minute, which is pretty brisk. Now is a great time to take a break. I recommend taking a little break. Just for the sake of the live stream, I'll take just a little break, but a good 5-minute break is great to do here. I am going to swab out. It's always a good idea to swab early and swab often. And I'm going to also read to you what the session is for today. So this is on page 33, the changing intervals long tones. And the purpose is, even though these exercises are written in eighth notes, pretend there is a fermata on each note, so it is still a really long tone exercise. So it is still really a long tone exercise. I can read. As you move throughout all these changing intervals, focus on playing all of the notes with the same quality of sound, no matter if it is a large or small interval between the notes. The throat tones may be particularly challenging to play with the same sound quality. So that's sort of the challenge of this one, is doing all kinds of different intervals while maintaining the same quality, just like we did with the Christmas tree long tones last time. The thing with the Christmas tree long tones is the intervals are a lot more predictable, so it's easier for you to hear them and know where you're going, whereas the changing intervals are a little less predictable and you have to sort of use your ear to know what you're aiming for. So let me go ahead and pull up page 33 and we will get started with those. Okay, so there's 3 different changing intervals, long tone exercises. All of them are pretty long, so I don't know if we'll make it through even all of them in the 15 minutes, but let's give it a try. And you can see I'm doing a lot of repetitions of even just a couple notes. Again, it's a long tone exercise, so if there's anything I don't like about the transition, I go back and get it again, because this is all about quality, not just playing through, which is partially why I'm doing these videos, and why included in the book are videos that you can sort of just click on to hear me practicing the exercise, because it's much more about how you do these things rather than just doing them and saying you did it. So these are really good. I'm taking a little break here for my mouth because these are really a lot of work on the embouchure and the air. And I also want to say that these are great to sort of get into a little bit of a meditative space and just be sure that you're always really, really listening to your sound. Also, Aslan Hussein says, hi and great job. Hello, I'm glad that you're enjoying. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have. But yeah, I'm about 2/3 of the way through the first exercise. So let's keep going and keep working on that quality. Make sure as you're getting into that sort of meditative zone too, that you're not just zoning out and just playing, but you're always really listening and focusing on that sound quality. I also want to show you, even though this is super, super smooth, watch how snappy my fingers are as I play through this. So you can see that I'm really snappy with the fingers, really taking my time to get the best sound and the best transitions on all of these intervals, which is definitely easier said than done. And if you really take your time to go after these exercises like this, it's absolutely going to make a difference in your playing and really improve. And the more picky you are and the closer you listen to how you're doing these, the better off you're going to be. So that was the first one. Now I'm going to go on to the second one. Different key, different intervals, same challenges. That's the second one. Notice that I did go quite a bit softer there at the end. That's a great way to sort of keep things interesting and not get sort of just going through the motions when you're just playing the same dynamic. Try the extremes, extreme loud, extreme soft, and see if you can keep the really great control. That's a great way to sort of keep your brain engaged, as it can be tempting to sort of again zone out and just play through it. Now I'm on to the last one. Let's see how much time I have left. Oh, perfect, about 4 minutes. I'm pretty even on the time here. And as I go through them, I can get a little bit faster because I'm just starting to get comfortable. Notice at the start of this, I was kind of fighting with this read and didn't love the sound all of the time. I think I'm starting to get used to it, and I'm starting to get the flexibility to get what I want out of this read. And I'm going to do this one softer too. Let me restart. Whew. And I think that's, yep, 20 seconds left. That is good for our time for today. That was really nice. I'm going to do my little bit of reflection here now. And as always, I forgot to get my pencil out without knocking over my phone. But this is a really just great exercise for really finding that sort of meditative zone, really listening to how it sounds. There was times when I could sort of like feel the sound resonating in my chest, which was kind of nice. And I felt like my sound quality was really nice when that was happening, where the whole body was sort of resonating and vibrating with the instrument. And that's what we want. We want those good vibrations while we're playing, because that's how they really help. It was also interesting to do that many long tones in a row. I do long tones every day, but I normally do just one of those exercises, or just like the scale long tones like we started with at the beginning of the session. And it's really interesting to really dig deep into the long tones and do a whole 15 minutes of long tone exercises, just taking all of that time to listen and reflect. And again, I feel like I'm working so much better with the read. It'd be interesting to see that last exercise that I just did is in A minor. And it'd be interesting to compare that to the A minor scale long tones at the beginning of the session and see how the sound is sort of changed and how the warm up helped me to sort of learn where this read is and learn how to get my best sound. So I'm just going to write for my sort of progress. These are very meditative, and it was just really nice to listen to the sound. And again, this is going through the timeline, so it's just I do these today, and then I don't think I really revisit these in the timeline. Yeah, I don't. But actually, I might. Hold on. Yes, there is. These become a daily warm up later in the timeline, the changing intervals ones. But I can always go back to these whenever, and that's kind of the point of this, especially the mastery timeline, is to just expose you to a whole bunch of different warm-up exercises and fundamentals exercises that you can be doing, and then you can sort of come back to them whenever you want, try them out in different ways, however you feel is going to give you the best results in your clarinet playing. And the more and more you go for this quality of sound on whatever notes you're playing, the better your clarinet playing is going to get each and every day. So I hope you've been enjoying these. If you want to get a free sample of some of the actual pages and the music that I'm looking at and working through in these, you can go to quickstartclarinet.com/sample. That link's in the description. And if you want the whole program where you can have 3 different sessions, so right now we've made it about a third of the way through one of the 3 sessions. So it's only a fraction of the material in the book. Eventually, I think it'll probably turn out to be roughly a third of the material in the book that we get through with the mastery timeline. So there's even more stuff. So if you want to get the whole program, has the timelines, has the actual music that you can look at. It also has separate videos of me playing through these where you can just click on one exercise and see me practicing those. Then go to quickstartclarinet.com/nextgenbook. That link is in the description. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. If you already have the book and you're going through it, I wish you the best of luck as you work through your timelines, and hopefully these are helpful to see exactly how I do it. And yeah, I really feel like even for me, even though I'm like a more advanced player and these are very, very simple exercises that I've done before and exercises that I wrote, it's still really, really helpful and beneficial to me even now to sort of listen to that sound and go for that quality every single time that I'm practicing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week as we move on to number 7, which is going to be more long tones, but this time we're doing over the break long tones that are a little bit different, and we'll be moving through some different keys, and that'll be a fun one next time. So have a great week, and I will see you next time.